The Wekiva, River Out of Time. How do we protect a national treasure in our own backyard? The Wekiva begins and ends with water. It always has, ever since Florida first arose from the sea. At first arid, the peninsula took its present form some 7,500 years ago when the climate changed and rains began to fall. Water seeped down into the porous, sandy uplands and helped fuel the underground rivers below, just as they do today. Our aquifer was created. And springs like those that support the Wekiva River system began to flow. Today, Florida is blessed with more springs than any other region of the world. And springs in east central Florida are clustered in the Wekiva Basin. Together, they help create the rare and abundant biological diversity that makes the landscape here unique, from subtropical river swamp to scrub and sandhills. Over 50 protected species of plants and wildlife live in the Wekiva system, including bald eagles, bears, limpkins, alligators, pitcher plants, and several snails and fish found nowhere else on Earth. The people who have lived here through time have been shaped by the richness of its ecology, from the Timucua and Seminoles and early pioneers to contemporary canoeists, swimmers, fishermen, and nature watchers. For those of us who use and live in the Wekiva Basin, it is both recreation and refuge. But the abundance that once stretched across our region is under serious threat. The Wekiva is a precious relic of what all of Central Florida used to be, and if growth trends continue, it may one day cease to exist. One planning study shows that the region will be built out by 2050, and development will encircle what is left of the Wekiva. Unlike environments buttressed by rocky, unyielding landscapes, the biology that drives the Wekiva receives little of that protection. It could be squeezed until becoming dry. In particular, the spring shed to the southwest of the basin is unprotected and consequently is targeted for dense development. Uplands used for recharge may one day be paved. Springs that are already declining may cease to flow. And valuable wildlife corridors linking the Wekiva with the Ocala forest could be severed. Keystone species like the Florida black bear, which thrives here in greater densities than anywhere else in the state, might eventually vanish. The Wekiva River system, the only river in Florida designated federal wild and scenic for its entire length, could be lost. It doesn't have to be this way, though. It's important to know that you can play a major role in helping sustain this national treasure in our own backyard. After all, it was the efforts of local citizens that created the nonprofit Friends of the Wekiva River in 1982. This grassroots organization is credited with helping raise awareness and bringing attention to the needs of this special river system. Their accomplishments are many. They include the designation of the river as an outstanding Florida water and the establishment of the State Wekiva River Protection Act, which stresses rural character for the private land in the basin. The Friends have lobbied for the public purchase of land in the Wekiva-Ocala corridor, and they've played a vital role in stressing that a beltway link through its basin is designed to be sensitive to nature there. At the heart of their strategy has always been the focused need to balance development and use of the river system with preservation. The Friends have never been against growth, but they have stressed that if it's not sensitive to the fragile nature of the river basin, the quality of life for all who live and visit here, both people and wildlife, may be forever lost.
I think the reason we have been effective is because we stayed on a single mission, protect the Wekiva. We based, anytime we met with government, be it local, state, a developer, whatever, we based it on fact and science, not emotion.
Some 110 square miles of public land, supported by millions of dollars of funding, will be in jeopardy. So too will the aquifer that supplies drinking water for 9 out of 10 Floridians.
Aha!
If you will join with the Friends of the Wekiva in careful stewardship of this natural jewel, its legacy will be passed on to the generations that follow us on the Florida Peninsula. There are many actions you can take, from the broad to the very specific. First, we ask you to pay careful attention to the proposals for future growth, not just in the Wekiva Basin, but also in the spring shed where the rainfall recharges the springs. Become proactive by helping with efforts of the Friends of the Wekiva, or by mobilizing your family and neighbors. Write, call, and email your lawmakers when the Wekiva system is in jeopardy. Make political choices wisely. If you live in the Wekiva Basin or spring shed, you can landscape your yard in ways to minimize the use of water, poisons, and fertilizers. Homeowners use 10 times as much pesticides in their lawns than farmers do, and applications are unregulated. Nutrients and poisons can seep down into the aquifer and also wash away as stormwater into ditches, culverts, and streams that lead to the river. Many programs such as drought-resistant landscaping and natural planting helps homeowners reverse this trend. Finally, we hope that you'll join with us in celebration of the spirit of the river system itself.
And it's one more dream tucked in my pocket, one dream in the song. And it's one dream here and gone.
The ancient people who lived here believed the springs of the river to be sacred. If we forge our own connection with the river and its special sense of place, we'll be more likely to want to save it. The benefits in doing so are well documented in both economic and ecological terms. But ultimately, caring for the river means that we care for ourselves, for it's at the very lifeblood of the place where we live. This relic of another time may soon be out of time if we don't act now. We hope you'll become a true friend of the Wekiva River, a friend of its springs and tributaries, its woods and wildlife. A natural treasure of this magnitude deserves nothing less. For more information on the Friends of the Wekiva River, and to learn more about the actions you can take to help save this fragile natural system, please visit www.friendsofwekivariver.org or call them at 407-862-5432.